Welcome to Green Sky Keyboard Tutorials. Today we are going to learn about Triad chords. So as a keyboardist, at least I know most Africans or Ghanaians, they like to play the keyboard but they don't know the theory aspect of this lesson is basically to teach you how to know certain chords, know the name of the chords. Then when they are playing, you'll be able to play some, you'll be able to understand. So when we say triad chords are chords which are made with only three notes. So if you form any chord and it's having three notes, meaning it is what? A triad chord. So we have 4 basic triad chords, and those triad chords, they are the major triad, minor triad, diminish, and then augmented. But I'll add 2 to it, so stay tuned. By the end of the lesson, you get the remaining 2 triad chords that I've added to it. So let's jump into the first one. That's the major triad chord. Most of you might know the major triad chord. So we are doing it in key C, then we'll learn in other keys. So this is key C. If this is your first time playing the keyboard, 2 blacks is key C. Then when you follow the English alphabet, after C you go to D. So C, D, E, F, G, then you stop at G and start with A, B, and come back to C again. So let's look at the major triad for key C. And the formula is 1, 3, 5. So when you number all the keys from 1 to 7, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you come back to 1 again, C again. So after getting the scale, C becomes 1, then E becomes 3, then G becomes your 5. So the formula is 1, 3, 5. So if you know this one, you can form the major triad for the rest of the notes. So let's take different key. Let's say E. So first I have to know the scale of what? E. So E is do, or 1, 2, 3. So let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Back to 1 or 8. So my first is my third, and so this is the formula. So you can do the rest of this the keys. Let's look at the next one, which is minor. So minor, when you are able to form the major, just move a step back. So the formula is 1 flat the 3, then 5. So 1, then you flat means move back. So when you are going to the third, you move back 1. So 1 flat the third. I have a lesson on this channel which talks about how to form major and minor. So I'm not going to get that video, and please watch it. So major, minor. So it's 1 flat the 3, then so you can form it anywhere or on any key. So if you take F sharp like this, if I know the major, this is the major, so the minor is this one. So we call it the F sharp minor triad chord. Then let's take C sharp. This is major. So the minor is this one. Then the next chord we are going to look at is the diminished triad chord. Diminished triad chord. So when you flat the third, you are going to flat the fifth again. So if you take the major chord, that's 1, 3, 5 in key C major. When I flat this one minor and flat the fifth one, it becomes diminished. So you see how simple it is. We just don't know the names. So when you play the major and you move the middle finger a step back, and the last finger or the last note a step back, it becomes diminished. You have been hearing these things in movie. Good. So let's form it in another key. Let's take G. I'll play the major for the major triad chord for key G. Then I'll move the middle finger a step back, and the fifth I'll move also back. So the third back and the fifth back. That's my diminished triad chord. Let's take G sharp or A flat. So this is the major, minor, minor, diminish. Major, minor, diminish. And then let's look at the final one for the first four. That's the augmented. Augmented chord is 1, 3, 5. Then you sharp the fifth. So when you get the major chord, just sharp the fifth or move one step forward. Move to the next note. It becomes the augmented chord. So let's take it from the beginning. C major, C minor, C diminished, and C augmented. I'm taking it again. C major, C minor, C diminished triad chord, and C augmented triad chord. Augmented chord. So you see how simple it is. So let's try it in a different key. B flat. B flat. We are having the major chord, major triad chord, B flat. So it's what? B flat, D, and F. So when I move this one to C sharp, it becomes the minor. When I move this one to E, so I'm having the diminish of B flat chord. So that's the triad. So everything we are doing here is triad today. So the next lesson I'll do the seventh. The seventh chord. So when I play the major and move one step from the fifth, I sharp the fifth, it becomes the augmented. So now let's come back to C. When you come to the C, let's look at some nice trick for the augmented. So when you have this is the augmented chord for key C. When I move, I change the note, or I move this note to the top one. I'll find the first invention for it. So this E major. Then the augmented chord is this one, and it's the same as C. So when you form C augmented chord, it's the same as E, augmented chord is the same as G sharp or A flat augmented chord. So when you are able to form one augmented chord, meaning you have formed 3 augmented chords. That's C augmented chord is the same as E augmented chord and G sharp or A flat augmented chord. So the only thing you will do is let the key you are forming the augmented start. So if I want C, I just have to form the inversions of it and I will get E and so if I know the augmented inversions for C, my 2 ones I wanted to add, that's the sustain. So the sustain is 1, 2 and the 5th. So 1, 2, 5. This is key C, Sus2. Then when you remove your hand on this one, you can't play it. You add the 4th or the 5, it becomes Sus4. So Sus2, Sus4, Sus2, Sus4. So simple. And one beautiful thing is that the Sus2 or somebody Sus4. So if you have Sus4 here, when I find the inversion of this one, it becomes Sus2 for key F. Now let's look at the Sus2 for B, key B. So 1, 2 and 5. Then Sus4 will be so you realize that all the notes are 3. You are combining 3 notes to form. So all these ones they are triad chord. Thank you for watching. The next lesson we will look at 7th chord. So as a keyboardist, you need to know all these chords because it's not always that you'll be using the do fa so and the to and the mo and all those things. Because when you come to the bigger community, the theory aspect of the keyboard too, you have to learn it, and that's the reason why most people cannot learn from the white people, because they learn the theory. So when they are playing, they just mention the chords, and if you know the chords and they say I'm playing F dominant 7, immediately you hear that, you know it already. You know we're wasting time checking for the note 111. So you have to practice more and learn it. Thank you. See you next time.